You are now listening to the highlight reel builder for authors, the Going North podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer and author of the best-selling book, Stay the Course, Dom Brightman. And you're going to be getting some goodies today from the guest that's up next. And today on the super special, awesome podcast known as Going North, it's episode 400. And in the words of one of my favorite video game characters of all time, Big Smoke, it's time to return the favor, baby, because it's a host-to-host special to boot. Because, my goodness, this wonderful gentleman right here, a legend in the public speaking industry, because he's probably trained almost all of them, to be honest. He's trained more than any other professional speaker, living or dead, that we know of. And because when you check out his podcast Through the Commute, you will freaking see why. I discovered the podcast when I was about to be interviewed on there and went on a freaking binge quest. And I'm like, dude, I'm only like maybe 10% through some of it because I have to take some action from what I've heard from that 10%, because this man right here, my goodness, if Batman had a utility belt level 99, this guy's probably has a Batman utility belt level 9,999, because he's a living legend, hosts his own show, and he's an internet millionaire guy that's next door right now to wherever you are right now, next door, because you can find him online, because he also has the only licensed, dedicated internet marketing school in the country. So let's give it up for the one, the only TA himself, Mr. Tom Antion. How you doing today, Tom?
Hey, Dom. And when you're talking about that belt, I'm thinking, are you talking about how big around my waist is?
No.
I think that's more like it. If I had a Batman suit, I'd be hard trouble getting off the ground.
No, I'm just talking about almost all the content you've produced over the years, and you're still producing, man.
Yeah, I just did a bunch of stuff today. Did 2 podcasts today, a 2-part series on email marketing. See, email marketing is still where all the money is. All this other stuff is a necessary evil to get them off of social media onto your email list, and that's because you're in control of that. See, there's other things, you're renting space basically for free on somebody else's platform, and they can turn one dial and you disappear off the face of the earth. So, or if they don't like what you say, you disappear off the face of the earth. So I like email. Email is still where all the money is.
Yeah, you can say that again. You're so darn right about that. Heck, I remember next interview, this music artist, forgot his name. Actually, no, wait, I remember Lil Boosie. He was talking about, man, like Mark Zuckerberg, give me back my IG, man. Give me back my IG, man. Like,
Yeah.
you're helping out the community if you give me back my IG. And it's like, yeah, that email marketing. Yeah. Like, I finally jumped on that last year, and you're so darn right. I actually got more sales after starting emailing
Absolutely.
people.
That's where the money comes from. You have control when it goes out. You have autoresponders, which can be triggered by somebody else anytime, day or night, and get the information that they want, and then get into a follow-up sequence automatically, and give them coupon codes, because everybody loves a sale. And you'll see a sale come in 3 months after the person signed up automatically, because they've been getting these emails from you automatically that you put into your sequential. It's called a sequential autoresponder. It's probably what, if you took guys like me and asked them what are some of the most important things ever invented for online marketing, almost everybody will say the sequential autoresponder. See, when we first started, you could do an autoresponder. It was almost like fax on demand. You could send one email and get an email back with the information you wanted. But now you can trigger an autoresponder in various ways, a sale or an opt-in or giving away a freebie or a lead magnet. And then the autoresponder sequence is triggered. And I got some going out 6-8 months. The people keep hearing automatically while I'm sitting here talking to you.
Wow. That's freaking powerful right there too. And like, my goodness, like 6 to 8 months too. I guess it's Kind of because a lot of people, they kind of need to be reminded because we tend to forget things. I guess that's why it's set up that way for 6 to 8 months.
Well, the takes, especially nowadays, they're surrounded by so many marketers. And
Mm,
so it takes many, many touches for people to finally start trusting you that you've got good information that helps them. And so my philosophy on email marketing is I want people to get used to getting emails from me that help them. That way they don't mind when you slip in some ads or you just send an ad to them once in a while. So that's the main thing. And here's the rule of thumb. The more emails you send, the more money you will make up to a
mm.
point. All right. And you have to learn where that point is. Okay. Because you get crazy in a market that can't handle crazy. And then some can. Some you can send 2 or 3 a day, but some you could send 2 or 3 a week, and that would be too much. So you have to find out for your market when you're first starting what makes sense for you. But you can't let 1 or 2 people complaining run your business, because it's just the nature of the beast when you're talking big numbers of email subscribers. Some people are just going to be negative Nellies and and complain, but you just wave goodbye, just unsubscribe and like, see you later. But you can't let them run your business. And a lot of newbies are afraid, oh, they don't like me. So yeah, well, nobody's going to like you if you're broke, and living on the street, so so yeah, so there's all kinds of, it's all on my mind because I just did 2 training sessions on email marketing today. So
Oh, my goodness. Right out the gate, dropping jewels. You already got a tennis bracelet of wisdom already from the mighty T himself, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right, indeed. Like knowing your market, and the more emails you send, I guess within reason, once you know your market, the more money you'll make.
that's right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's so darn true. I feel like that's a message that a lot of folks, especially starting out, need to hear because they may see themselves as a customer, as their own customer, thinking, "Oh God, I hate emails." But hey, other folks might enjoy your emails if you're sending them good content that'll actually help them out.
Yeah, and so everybody just so enamored with the social media, but like I said, you're under somebody else's thumb, and so that's a dangerous position to be in if you're depending on this money for your family and paying the bills.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My goodness. And that's only one part in one realm. So just backtracking a bit, mind filling in any cavities I may have missed about your Tom, for those who want to know the backstory of how you got to where you are, because you're like a living, breathing book of Proverbs in the land of internet business. And you've been doing this for 45 years
Well, I've
in
been
total.
yeah, the internet was 27 years because it started around 1994. And then I didn't make a nickel. I got to be honest, I didn't make a nickel for the first 2 years until I got good training. And then there was a guy named Corey Rudel who was like the 30-year-old grandfather of internet marketing. And so I got good training for him, and I started making money immediately after I got good training. And it was $50 a week, then 100, then 500, then 1,000. Now it's not uncommon, $30,000 weeks. Um, and then 4 years later, I was a multimillionaire around the year 2000, and enjoy that still today. So there's no limit to what you can do on the internet. And I know some people are probably out there still working and want to get out of the cubicle and get out of that. But my when I train people, my job is to make it too expensive for them to go to work anymore, because they're working on their own stuff instead of making somebody else rich. And then when that income exceeds or equals their job, that's when you take this job and shove it. So but this can all be done part-time to start if you want. I never tell anybody just quit and be broke and don't pay your bills and jump into this business, but you can start very inexpensively if you know what you're doing. And there's a dozen ways you can make money with no website at all. I got to People a lot of times come to me and they need to make money fast, and this kind of surprises people what I teach them. But eBay, you can have money coming in tomorrow and clean your basement out at the same time. so so I grew up very frugal, and we were always, my dad would buy used lumber and make us pull the nails out, straighten them out, and reuse the nails. That's the kind of where I came from. So I'm very frugal. I buy on the buying apps and use stuff. And so I bought this local thing off of eBay. The guy was local. It was a tool. And so I go to his house and beautiful house and beautiful motor home out front. He comes to the door dressed nicely and he invites me into his shop, which is down in his basement, to look at this tool. So we go down the steps and heading back towards his shop. And Dom, everything up to this point is normal.
Okay.
We're going into his shop and I'm looking over, and the ceiling of his basement, there's hundreds of ladies' bras hanging from the ceiling of his basement. So I'm all of a sudden thinking, oh my God, he lures people in to buy tools, kills them, and hangs their underwear on his ceiling. So I'm watching him like a hawk, man. And I buy the tool, and we're starting to go out, and I'm walking behind him. I don't want to get in front of him. And I finally said, I got to ask you, what's all these bras hanging up here? And he says, oh, my daughter goes to all the thrift stores. She knows all the sizes. She buys all the stuff, comes home, cleans them, fixes them up, and sells them on eBay. Oh, okay. I get it now. $200,000 a year she makes selling used bras on eBay. All right.
Wow.
So he said she's got a whole bunch of more thrift stores. She's possibly going to hit 400,000 next year. So
Wow.
and I'm thinking to myself, man, if I was hanging around the thrift store bra department, they'd probably call the police or something. So it's probably not the best for me, but you can definitely do it. And then I have this other friend. Now, first of all, let me just talk about eBay some more. eBay, if you go to eBay and the search, you see the search box to look for whatever you're looking for. Well, right next to the search box is a little link that says advanced search. If you click on it, it opens up another dialog thing, and you can click this box that says completed listings only. So you can see for the past 90 days how many auctions on that item and how much it's sold for, or if it's sold on a particular auction. So this friend of mine, she was a single mom. She took 80 to $100 every Saturday morning to yard sales. And she would see something like, maybe one of those really nice metal Tonka trucks, let's say, kid's toy. And they're asking $5 for it. She'd go on her cell phone and go to eBay advanced search and say, well, the thing's selling for $90 or $50 or something. So she would buy it. Now, if it was selling for $5 on eBay and they're asking $50, well, she wouldn't buy it. She was clearing $1,000 to $1,100 a week, clearing profit. She would one day yard sale and the rest of the time, taking pictures and putting the auctions up. $1,100 a week to support her and her kids. So and you need no website, no nothing. And there's people that are happy to teach it to you. And the guy that taught me, they have local people that'll come and for pay will teach you all the tricks. This ex-Marine came over and he was selling used cell phones and doll heads. And he brought his sales to prove to me he knew what he was doing. That month was $20,000 he made. And he had a big thing of used cell phones. And where'd he get the cell phones? He went to all the pawn shops. He says, what stuff can't you get rid of is pain in the neck? They said, oh man, cell phones. We can't tell what charger goes with what and what service it's on. He says, I'll give you $10 a piece for each one. They said, sold. Just come around once a month. We'll save them for you. And he was selling them for $110 each, just putting together the right chargers and the right systems and selling for $110 to people that didn't pay the $2 a month for the insurance for their cell phone that had broke it, So there's all kinds of ways. And the doll heads, I said, what's the deal with doll heads? You're a Marine. What's the playing with dolls? What's your story? He said, oh, man, he says, I got these forms and it costs 10 cents worth of rubber per head and it'll make 4 at a time. So he's got 40 cents in it and each doll head sells for $10. So he's
Mhm.
making 39 something per sale of 4 doll heads. And so I said, this is amazing, so there's all, and that's like, there's a million of those kinds of stories out there if somebody need to make money fast. But apparently the bra market is covered. Covered. That's probably the good word for
I
it.
guess in more ways than one, huh?
Yeah, two ways, hopefully.
Oh man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My goodness. Powerful stories and powerful examples right there. And it's so darn interesting because a lot of folks would discount eBay nowadays because folks always think of Amazon and all sorts of, well, actually, probably just Amazon, to be honest. People wouldn't really think about eBay, but just those two examples. And that was recent.
Well, I would talk people out of Amazon, Dom, because I did an episode recently about all the downsides of Amazon, the ways Amazon can take advantage of you, the customers and the returns and breakage, and just there's loads and loads of ways you can get hurt by. And everybody's telling you, oh yeah, buy our course on being Amazon seller. Now Walmart's getting into the game. Walmart
Mhm.
has the same kind of thing now, and now there's ads for, hey, you can make more money selling on Walmart, and it's not flooded. Probably true for a while at least, but I just the way I'm at this point in my career and what I teach people is, and even though the bra example is good and that's a lot of money and good for her, but I like selling electrons. I don't want to go to the post office anymore. I went to the post office for 30 years straight every day, pick up rent checks and mail books and stuff. And I don't want to go to the post office anymore. So selling electrons is just a beautiful thing. I mean, I have one ebook that I wrote in 4 hours at a layover at McCarran Airport in Las Vegas. As of this morning, has brought in $3.64 million. And it's a free ebook. You guys say, well, that sounds like BS, Tom. Free ebooks, right? Well, let me explain to everybody how this works. So in the ebook, I teach people how to do something that's really good for their online business, but they can't do it unless they purchase or lease the tool necessary to do it. And so I get paid when they go as an affiliate, when they go purchase the tool. And this a basic affiliate thing is where I get paid once if I refer somebody for a product sale. But the better kind is called a residual affiliate program. That means every month they pay their fee for their service or product, I get paid again. So I only promoted it once, but I get paid as long as they keep it. And some people have had it 15, 16 years, the tool, and keep using it. So it's all added up to me for $3.64 million as of this morning, and anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a month if I would just quit, right? And sell everything and go to Fiji, wherever that is.
Wherever
I
that
don't go
is.
to any places anymore. I've been all over the place. I'm happy to sit home and just sell electrons. But anyway, those ebooks are 97, even if you sell them, they're 97% profit. But any kind of book should always lead to something bigger, a membership site or a coaching program or mentor program like I got, all those kinds of things. Because then you make money all coming and going, so that's what I concentrate on. But my philosophy is work, get paid forever. And that's when you create this intellectual property, like ebooks and online courses and things like that, where you work once and keep getting paid, just sell it over and over and over again. Most people, their work model is work, get paid, work, get paid, work, hope I get paid and don't get laid off. That's no good. All right. I call this like an insurance policy. I actually was in a hunting accident 2 years ago. And it would have been such a great story had I gotten shot. But no, I fell on a log and I perforated my intestines. And
Ouch.
I'm in intensive care. I'm bleeding out. All right. I'm in intensive care for a week. And then 6 months, I had this massive gaping hole in my stomach, and I couldn't lift more than 5 pounds. The whole time money's coming in from these online entities that I built that keep paying. Say, that's what you want to, it's, I call it insurance policy, because if you get sick or hurt or injured or just want to take off for a while, the money can keep coming in. My mother, this is, what's this show, Going North? Well, my mother was going south on me really
Oh,
quick.
damn.
And I had to go move her out of our family home after 50 years living there. Big trauma for an older person. I had to find her a safe place to live and all this stuff. And I took off 3 months, and I came home and I had way more money than when I left. And in fact, on some months we were doing 140, 150,000 a month in January, which isn't usually that big. And I must have been holding myself back on those other Januaries because there was more when I wasn't here. All right. But I had friends tell me, if we took off 3 months, we'd have lost our house. So you don't want to be in that situation. That's a dangerous situation to be in. So having these high profit, low cost vehicles that people will give you money for is quite an insurance policy. When I hear people wanting to start a restaurant or do a donut shop or whatever, I'm like, I've been in the nightclub business, and the profit margin is this big if you're lucky. I mean, I went out to the dumpster one time. There's a whole case of cheese from our pizza shop. And, they act like they're taking the garbage out, took a case of cheese that they were going to steal later, so there's just all this stuff. When electrons, I mean, when I get really good at this, I'm going to start selling protons, I think, rather than electrons. Proton therapy with Tom.
Well, you just say it's an insurance policy, and I'm sure that'll help out more ways than one with the protons.
And I always have a good time. I had an entertainment company for a long time called Prank Masters. We custom designed practical jokes, and we did 4,000 of them in and around Washington, D.C. I wrote custom humor every day for 6 straight years, and I did 1,000 jobs myself of these comic performances. And I'll bet you've never had a guest in all your 400 episodes that's been to Santa school.
Nope.
That you know of course. They probably didn't admit it. I was at Santa school because I was, my hometown was so pitiful. I swore when I left I'm never coming back. And so I'd make any excuse to not have to come home on a holiday. So I went to Santa school. I said, Mom, I can't come home. I got to do Santa Claus for the kids. That's pretty, on one hand, that's really nice. On the other hand, it's really pitiful. I understand. I bet you I've done more gorillograms than anybody you've ever met in your whole life. Yeah, we had a balloon company, and so anything to avoid actually working for a living was my thing. I did this in the entertainment company. I did this over the hill preacher routine, where I would come in, if you turn 30 or 40 or 50, then I'd do this fake funny sermon about your last will and testament, and I'd be dressed like a priest. So I'd be walking in the mall going to the offices upstairs or something, and nobody knew it was a joke. So they're saying, "Hello, Father, how are you?" And I'd go along. And we had these caskets, which I still own to this day. I got these caskets at a flea market. They were called, they're full-size fiberglass caskets. They're called pauper's caskets, for people that couldn't afford a regular casket. So they'd show them in this casket, and then, I don't know, dump them in the hole and use it over again. It's like a good for the environment casket. I don't know. It's like environmentally friendly casket. So I have 2 of them, and we would take them to these over the hill birthday surprise parties and set them up with these hideous looking dummies inside of them, everything. And then I would come and do the last will and testament and stuff. But I had this little Nissan Sentra, and these caskets are full size. They didn't weigh that much, but they were enormous. And so I had this little travel trailer, and I had the casket on the back, and I'm driving a little Nissan Sentra, pulling this casket behind me, dressed like a preacher. and I had a sign on the car that said Tom's Discount Funerals. So, I mean, I did, like I said, we did 4,000 jobs, crazy jobs like that in 6 years. But it all turned out for the bit good, because I got this comic timing that when I went into the professional speaking business. Now I was getting $50-100 a job to do this crazy stuff. My first speech was $1,250, and then when I quit doing corporate speaking, my last speech was 20,000. And then I wouldn't even take that today, because I do public speaking where I've never done less than 100,000 at the back of the room in 20 years. Where and nobody, not obnoxiously, I might add. It's really, I give high quality service and sell them into a mentor program. So, but the part of it is because I give great information, but it's entertaining. So you got to entertain people nowadays, because there's so much stuff hitting them. You have to keep their attention. In fact, my classic book is called Wake 'Em Up. And it's, a bunch of people in beds in the audience, they're going to go to sleep if you don't keep them awake, and this is, a lot of colleges use this in their training and stuff. But entertainment value and high content, boy, you can really write your own ticket, and that feeds your online stuff. If you're not afraid to speak in public and you do a great job at it, and I'm not talking great where they patted you on the back at church. No, no, or Toastmasters or something. I'm talking so great that you could be the last speaker in Las Vegas before they go to the golf course and they'd still listen to you. That's professional level. But the sky's the limit then, because it's driving enormous people onto your email list that have seen you speak. Because I do a drawing in the middle after I've wowed them for half an hour. And then I do a business card drawing to give away something big. And then I got hundreds of new people on my email list. And even if they don't buy my big stuff at the event, virtually all of them buy stuff over time. That adds up, especially at 97% profit when it's digital. So if you can combine that with the online, boy, you can really rule the world.
Yeah, yes, indeed. You could definitely say that again. My goodness, I heard the Santa story, the Santa school, but I didn't hear the other part about the priest.
Well, you didn't hear the end of it was even worse.
Oh,
so see, the thing is when you do a great job and everybody's having such a good time, you enjoy it yourself. So I'm coming out and I'm feeling kind of ornery. I'm in the fanciest mall up in McLean, Virginia, which is outside of, this area. You're from Baltimore, but on the other side from you is the real hoity-toity places, all the fancy malls. So this is where it was. So I'm coming out of there on a cloud because the job went beautifully. Everybody had a good time, but I'm feeling a little bit ornery. I'm dressed like a priest, remember? So I'm going past Victoria's Secret. And I go in there. And I pick up the slinkiest little G-string thong thing I can find, and I take it up to the counter. And now these young girls, we'll call them, that are trained to say something about your purchase. And these young girls are pinned against the register, sweating, like our cousin. My cousin got that last week, and she really likes it. And I'm sitting there, and I don't want to tell you what I actually said, but I said that somebody's going to love this. And it wasn't a girl, put it that way. So I don't know. Poor Tom's going to have a heart attack over there. So you could have a lot of fun and make a lot of money combined. Okay, do I need to take over?
I'm all good.
Ask me something. I don't know. I could just tell you stories forever.
Oh, that's solid gold. My goodness, that's freaking solid gold.
Let me let me tell people how to make their hobbies tax deductible.
Please do.
Okay. See, the thing is most people have hobbies and family interests, but it's all after they, they're paying out the nose for it. They don't get any credit for any of it. It's just whatever's left over out of their paycheck, they're paying to do these family interests and hobbies and so forth. So all you have to do is put up an inexpensive website. We can make world-class websites for $150. A WordPress website with a responsive theme. Responsive means it looks good on a cell phone and tablet. And then whatever your hobby is, that's what the site is about. And you don't have to create a product. You can get an affiliate product, somebody else's product, and promote it. You get a commission, and now you are in business. That's, and then a lot of the expenses to that come off your taxes, as long as it's reasonable. But you can get tremendous tax deductions for doing the stuff. It could be golf, it could be camping, it could be the kids' soccer. I mean, the soccer parents could go interview a bunch of high school soccer coaches and make a book out of it, how to make your kid successful in soccer. Now, what I did, all right, I think you'll enjoy this too. I have the dubious distinction of being the largest person ever to create and star in a tennis training video. It's called Fatso Tennis. It's tennis for the overweight and hopelessly out of shape. You can go to fatsotennis.com and see the trailer for this, where I'm playing tennis but eating pizza at the same time. and so the thing is funny in some ways. Do you remember that movie with Kevin Costner? I think it was called Tin Cup, where he was a golfer, but he was losing his mojo, so he had he's trying all these gadgets. Well, there's loads of gadgets for fat people playing tennis. So one of them is like, a tennis racket. You hold the tennis racket, right? And you got the strings on one end, and it's called the butt on the other end. So there's this thing you can stick on the butt of the tennis racket. It's like a big suction cup. So you never have to bend over to pick the ball up. You can just push it down on the ball and lift the ball. So there's a bunch of funny stuff like that, but there's a bunch of serious stuff on the angles of the court to make the other guy run like crazy with you not running, so you don't drop dead before they do. And the types of shots that you hit for tall people and short people, and the young kids never seen slice. They're all top spin, and so you hit slice to them, they don't know what to do. So you can beat younger, faster kids that way. So anyway, that makes all my tennis stuff tax deductible. So we have a tennis court here. We got a ball machine. The rackets are expensive, but and I even got to interview a professional tennis coach. All that tax deductible because I put it on the blog to help sell the DVD set. See? So make your hobbies tax deductible. Don't just get sucked in and do a 1040 easy form and then let the government have all your money to buy bombs with and stuff.
Yeah Definitely can say that again, because that's definitely powerful right there, because that's something that you don't hear about every day. Like even today, like even binging through some of your past interviews, it's like nobody else has mentioned how your hobbies could actually be tax deductible. So my goodness, what led to that discovery? Was it just your love of avoiding the regular 9 to 5 work?
Well, I was always right from an early age knew that the business is the place to be, and you pay less taxes. And so I learned very early how to do this. I mean, I started my first business formally in 1977. You weren't even thought about by that time, at that time.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there reading a book by long before this no money down real estate craze. I'm reading this book by William Nickerson, How to Turn $1,000 into $1 million in real estate. I said, I could do that. I didn't have $1,000, but I'm thinking all the techniques for the no money down stuff. So I went and found an old attorney that owned a 3 apartment building and he just wanted to retire, and he owned it free and clear. So he sold it to me, where I made the payments to him, no bank involved. See, and then my frugal background really kicked in that I went to college on a football scholarship, West by God, Virginia. You got to say by God when you say it. And so they were putting new seats in Mountaineer Field, plastic ones, and getting rid of these oak 2x6s or 2x8s, full size, not the little ones nowadays you get for $100. And so I went to Kmart and bought a $10 circular saw, and I ripped them down the middle and made 2x4s out of them. And I remodeled an extra room and got 2 more people they rented by the person at this college town. And that was another $250 a month in the 1970s. So I was making bank on this place after paying the other guy. So I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. So I did it. So by the time I graduated, I was a sophomore when I did this. By the time I graduated, I owned 5 apartment buildings and a hotel. So you can do this stuff now. I really want to tell them about the hotel too, because this is another really great lesson that's almost falls on deaf ears to the youth of today. But the message is give before you get. Give before you get. So when I was paying less rent than I was charging the other students. So I stayed in an apartment building that somebody else owned. And this guy's name was Frank. And so at the end of the semester, but every time he would come over to work on the building, I'd say, hey, Frank, I'll help you with this, but you teach me what you're doing. If putting gutters on or fixing windows or doors, whatever. Okay. So at the end of the semester, he comes over and says, Tom, I want to talk to you. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, what do we do? What do we do? He said, I've been renting apartments in this college town for 25 years. 25 years. Thousands of students he rented to. He said, not once ever had anybody offered to help him work on the buildings, let alone want to learn what they were doing. You're the only one out of all these years. He says, I own a hotel about 20 minutes from here in a different city, and I want you to have it. If you can come up with the first mortgage, I'll hold back the second mortgage, and you'll have a no money down deal. I'll show you how to run it, and I want to retire and go to Florida. So that's the give before you get. I mean, thousands of kids. I'm the only one because I offered to help something. Now the next lesson is persistence. So I had these apartment buildings, but a hotel, I'm going to the bank saying, hey, I want to buy this hotel. What the hell? What's wrong with you? And they're blowing me off, like flipping me off like a little flea, like, get out of here, you dreamer. You must have gone to some real estate course, 50 different lending institutions until I found one that said yes. They gave me $50,000 for the first mortgage. He held back $25,000 for the second mortgage. I paid $75,000 for this hotel, right, in the 70s, 36 units. And now this wasn't the Four Seasons. I got to let me just make that clear. All right. But then I ran it for 6 years. I cleared $65,000 a year while I was still in. I graduated, part of the time I was in there, and I only went down once a week on Fridays to pick up the rent checks. There's a manager on site, and then the city bought it out for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I probably made about $400,000 or $500,000 in the 70s on this deal from giving before I got. Okay, that's the point here. It's not how much money in a crazy hotel. It's that I stood out from the crowd because I gave before I got.
And thank you so much for sharing that lesson, because it's so darn true. Because a lot of folks are focusing on how much can I get out of this person? How much can I get out of the situation?
I'm entitled to everything. And, I had a person come and work here one time. I don't know why I hired them, but they were they were dumber than a stump, and here for 4 hours, and I was just, I could tell how stupid they were. And they're asking me, what their bonus was going to be. And they went to lunch and never came back. I was so happy that they didn't come back. I said, maybe you want to go to Santa school. I can get you into Santa school. All you have to do is say ho ho ho.
And then you're working your way up to a priest robe eventually, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So
Well,
with all
see
this,
how this definitely beats working for a living, right? Just BSing on podcast. And I'm episode 400. How you like that? I like that.
yeah, man. The thing is, really scratch the surface because my goodness, with all those wonderful real estate projects that you're able to invest in, and just from giving before you're getting and staying persistent, you actually now have your own retreat center where folks actually have the chance to actually speak with you one-on-one compared to a lot of folks where retreats, it may not be an actual true retreat with actual true feedback with true content that you can actually implement immediately and actually get a return on it.
Yeah, we have a big estate home here in Virginia Beach. We have a TV studio, have 2 buildings, about 11,000 square feet. And it's basically my house, but it's people actually come in and stay in the house, which there's been lots of retreats. They go to hotels or you stay at a hotel and come over to the person's house in the daytime. No, they actually live here in the house. And I make a lot of money with the hidden camera footage that I sell overseas. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So that's what that Victoria's Secret thong was for. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You hang it up in the bathroom along with a camera. You can't miss. but yeah, I've been doing this 21 years now, and the only time we've not had them is in the past since the pandemic. So, but we'll be opening up here probably by fall. But it's part of a year-long training program for my mentor program. So people are still in the program and learning remotely, which it's just an immersion weekend out of a year-long program. So when things open up, they'll all come over here and have their weekend. But the TV studio is nice, and then I also have the only licensed dedicated internet marketing school in the country, and it's licensed by SHEV, the State Council on Higher Education in Virginia. But it's distance learning, so you can be anywhere and attend the school. And then we're doing this program now. You know about it. I'm so proud of in that we're putting 5 people with physical disabilities through the school, because not only can they learn from a distance, they can legitimately be hired and work from a distance or start their own business. And then I'm taking a grant writing course because I'm a continuous learner. And when I make this program successful, I'm going to try to go for big foundations and big companies to get them to really ramp it up big, so I can help lots and lots of people that need the help. So that's what I'm working on.
So wow. So like make a wish, except business edition sounds like.
Yeah. There's I just have a lot of gratitude. I mean, I really got good genes from my dad. My dad came from Syria on a cattle boat in the early 1900s, and they're actually doing a documentary about me, and then how he came and became an entrepreneur and turned me into an entrepreneur. And I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs. It's supposed to, it's up to Hollywood, so I don't know exactly when it's going to fly, but it's supposed to be this summer sometime. But it's I just have a lot of gratitude. I mean, he gave me such good genes. I had a physical, and other than being a fat butt, the doctor said you should have been a Clydesdale horse. He says, I got people half your age falling apart, and I'm not on any medicines or anything. So I have a lot of gratitude, and I want to pass it on, because I can, to these people that didn't get as good a hand of cards dealt to them as I have. So that's why I'm doing it.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And then I love it when you talk about your dad like that, especially when you always mentioned how he would always stick a pillow in front of you as a baby, so that way he would teach you persistence.
Yeah, well, he taught. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Johnny Cash, but the country singer. Well, he wrote a song called "A Boy Named Sue," and it was a song about an old drunk cowboy that figured he wouldn't be around for his kid to grow up, so he named him Sue to make him scrap and fight and be tough. So my dad was 50 when he had me, and he figured he wouldn't be around. And he had only went to the second grade formally, but I actually witnessed him over a couple of years sit down and read the entire World Book Encyclopedia. I don't know if a lot of people never even seen one, but they're 26 volumes plus the supplements. And he's the smartest guy I ever knew. But anyway, when I was just crawling, he would put pillows in front of me and my balls and my toys on the other side to teach me how to overcome obstacles. And to this day, I consider myself unstoppable. And now I won't cheat anybody or step on them to get where I'm going. But if you tell me I can't do something, this is a good lesson for folks too. You better get out of the way as I blow by doing it. And when somebody tells you you can't do something, what they're saying is they can't do it. Has nothing to do with you at all. It's they can't do it. So you just say, well, okay, thanks for your opinion, but I'm going to go do it now. so, so yeah, you got to get the naysayers out of your life and keep scratching and crawling. And that's what he taught me from a young age. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Heck, even a rare
Those of you
question
watching the video, that's kind of a representation of it behind me there. We had a big seminar after he passed away and kind of a memorial to him, and everybody signed it and made that picture on it.
Yes, indeed. Especially even as the ball too, you can see an edge of it next to Tom's
Yeah,
shoulder
yeah.
too. It's like, yeah.
That's my backdrop. And I mean, you're sitting here talking to him. I mean, because he just instilled so many important things in me, like excellence. Like, so he came, he put the first electric light bulb in Carnegie, Pennsylvania at 10 years old. He had his own electrical contracting firm at 13 years old. And I remember when I was about 10 years old, watching him wire a electrical service, where your breaker box and all that is. And he's making the wires like go really perfectly up and over across. And I said, Dad, why don't you just cut across the angle and save a little bit of wire and save some money? Oh my God. He looked at me with daggers in his eyes. He looked at me. I'll never forget. I get goose pimples every time I think about it. He said, don't you ever, ever sacrifice excellence to save a few dollars. When somebody looks at this job years from now, they'll know a professional did it. And if anything goes wrong, they'll be able to troubleshoot it. Don't you ever sacrifice excellence, ever. Okay, Dad, I got the message. And so everything I do, I put extra in it because I never get any refunds. I can't even remember how to do a refund because nobody ever wants them because I go overboard. See, when you make products, what you want to do is make it so people say to themselves, I can't believe I got this much value for this little money. Then you won't get refunds. And then they'll spread that word for you and things will get easier. But if you put out schlocky stuff, then selling gets harder and harder and harder because more people know you suck. So don't do that. It gets way easier when you built a reputation of high quality, and especially with the digital stuff now, it's not like you're making a German watch, which you're spending $10,000 to make a $20,000 watch. You're spending nothing to make something that people will give you 100 times, what it would cost you. See, so there's no reason not to be excellent now. It's so easy to do that and make high quality products that people actually want. I actually wrote a book called The One Sentence Business Plan. It took me 60 pages to write how to do the one sentence business plan. But I wish every company would do this. And here it is. Here's the one sentence, everybody. I create quality products that people actually want at a reasonable price, and I service the customer after the sale. How are you going to go wrong with that? If people spend $1 million on a mission statement, if they would just get my ebook and say, oh, that's a good idea, it cost them $27 and then they'd be done. And then they'd do better than their crappy mission statement it's like we at First Stick Up the Butt National Bank believe in high quality service. Well, you didn't tell the teller that today for some reason. She was not too nice to me. You know, so no, there's just I came from a small town. There's only 500 people in my hometown still to this day, and we
Wow.
lived in the suburbs. So we lived in the boonies, and you did what you said you're going to do. If you put out schlocky work, everybody in town knew it and gave you crap about it. I mean, that was where I came from. So nowadays, I don't even know my neighbor's name. After 20 years. so, so it's a different story. But luckily, those things stuck with me since I was a kid, and that's a good lesson for parents out there: is instill these good things in your kid when they're young, because as soon as they get out in the world, boy, I'm kind of glad I don't have a kid coming up in today's world, because there's some bad stuff going on out there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely can say that again. It's definitely been interesting times to say the least.
Mhm.
Definitely to say the least. So my goodness. So with all these wonderful victories that you've had, what was probably the biggest failure that taught you probably one of your greatest lessons in whether it would be life or business?
Well, I lost when I had my nightclub. I had it, and I was on my way to being a millionaire by the time I was 30. And actually, I'm lucky to get out of there alive. I was in 2 gunfights, knife fights, um, hundreds of violent encounters, bikers trying to kill me, and shot up my car with shotgun blasts, and so it was a nasty type of business. But anyway, it was very lucrative until the drinking age went from 18 to 21 and wiped me out. I lost $400,000 in one shot. And but here's the lesson that came from it. And it was totally out of my control. It was one swipe of the legislative pen and wiped me out. After 7 days a week for 6 years, I worked that business, and it was the second biggest nightclub in the state. But here's the lesson that came from it. I refused to go bankrupt. I went in advance before my bills were delinquent to every creditor, and I said, you know me, you know this wasn't my fault. If you give me time, I will pay you off every nickel. I don't want to go bankrupt and screw you over. You trusted me with this credit, and all the food and the beer and the wine and all this other equipment, everything. So I said, I refuse to go bankrupt. I will pay you off. And every one of them said yes. I mean, they didn't have much choice. Right? I know that. But, they're gonna got nothing if I went bankrupt. But if I went back to that town today, they would say, hey, that guy's all right. He didn't screw us over. And I ended up paying everybody off every nickel over time. Yeah. So it was a failure on one hand, out of my control, but what do you do about it? That shows who you are and what you are. Okay? And I'm not saying bankruptcy is a bad thing or embarrassing. I mean, I guess it's kind of embarrassing, and it does stick with you more than just like herpes or something. It's like there for on your credit report for 7 years or something. So so so, so I didn't I want to kind of avoid that. So, but there's the answer to your question. You didn't expect the word herpes to be involved in it, but it was.
Oh, freaking love it. Good stuff. Good
And I
stuff.
just want you to know, it is not that easy to be Santa Claus. You have to learn a lot of stuff, because you got to, what if a kid comes up and says, hey, my mommy died and of cancer, and I want her back. What do you say? I say, next, no. But I did a naughty Santa too. So I would do the kids parties, and then they'd go to bed, and then I'd turn into naughty Santa, and I had these Rudolph boxer shorts, and I'd act like I was getting drunk, and I had my big red pants would fall down, and you'd see these Rudolph boxer shorts, and, and then I had these lines like, hey, Santa's been known to lay a few dolls under the Christmas tree. Stuff like that. So, I got a lot worse ones than that too, by the way. They loved it. I'll tell you this one time I was doing, I had this thing from Radio Shack. It was a portable megaphone that had a bunch of different sounds it would make. And one of them was Jingle Bells. So I would take it and I'd push the jingle bell button and everybody got a kick out of it. But the batteries went dead on the way to a party one time. So you don't really have the whole outfit on when you're driving in the car, and especially in, if it's warm out. So I stop at the mall and all I have is my t-shirt and these red Santa things and the boots on. And I'm running in to try to get these batteries. And as soon as I hit the door, the parents are saying, "Get out of here. Don't let the kids see you like that. Get out." So I got to run back out to the car, put the whole thing on, all the stuff. And I run back in, and then the kids see me. And it's like the Pied Piper. They're grabbing my arm. "We love you, Santa." And I'm dragging them down to Radio Shack to get some batteries. "Get out of here, kid." So being Santa is not all that it's cracked up to me, but I don't want to brag. But I, Tom Antion, was the Santa Claus for National Geographic's Christmas party 3 years running. So I guarantee you there's nobody going to be on your show that could claim that.
There you go. That trifecta, that hat trick right there, y'all. Oh, man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My goodness, all these wonderful jewels from the mighty T himself while we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive. And that is, if you're to wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but this time in 2021 with all of your amassed knowledge and wisdom, what advice would you give to yourself?
Oh, man. Take advantage of those supermodels that were chasing me around in those days. Because what's sad now, Dom, is like when you finally realize that you are never going to be an international playboy. That's a sad time for people. So yeah, I would have romped and stomped a lot more. I was too straight laced. I don't know. Is that business advice? I don't
know. I guess we see opportunities strike, right? Oh my goodness. Man, my goodness indeed.
Well, we at least had a good laugh today. I hope you got something out of this. I think I gave a couple tips along the way. eBay. Oh. You can make money quick, right? What else did we talk about? Hobbies, tax deductible, right? What else? I forget what I was talking about. Oh, give before you get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make no money down deals on real estate. Find people that own buildings free and clear and just want out of the hassles, and you come in with all your energy and get them to hold back the mortgage for you. That's still doable today. It's just harder to find because all these real estate seminars. But what else did I tell them about? I don't know. Listen to the replay. What's that?
Excellence, of course.
Oh yeah, be excellent in what you do because everything will get easier because your reputation will spread as somebody excellent, not somebody to avoid. Okay. And there's probably a couple other things in there, but and then also if you're going past Victoria's Secret, dress like a priest. It's already been done. Don't even just keep on going.
Oh man, this has definitely been fun on two buns. My goodness. It's usually fun in the bun, but we'll go with two buns for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick my jewels up and go home too. I'm done with it. You said I dropped my jewels. So. And still, there's nothing I said that makes this an explicit episode for iTunes, so don't worry about it. I did not cuss. I didn't do anything like that.
Love this guy. Love this guy, indeed. Definitely. That's right. So for those who also enjoyed and loved the wonderful stuff that you gave, because this is probably only 0.1% of it, and want to dive into a bit more of what you do, what's the best way, folks, to keep up with the tenacious and talented Tom?
Well, they should subscribe to Screw the Commute podcast. I've done over 150 training sessions, and we've done 457 episodes as of today. On Mondays, I do an in-depth training session on something that's either made me a lot of money or saved me a lot of money. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, I interview great entrepreneurs like you. And so that's a good way. And then if you're interested in high-level training and being in a mentor program where people actually take care of you and not just sell you in and disappear on you. See, the way I structured mine is I made all the big gurus mad because people at my level were charging 50 or 100 grand up front to teach this to people. And I knew a lot of these people. They'd be hiding out somewhere in Mexico if you gave them 50 grand up front. They wouldn't even help you anyway. So I turned on its head in that I charge an entry fee, but then I get a percentage of your profits that's capped. So for me to get my 50,000, you have to net 200,000. And people love this, and 1,700 students later, it's still going strong, and over 23 years. So they know I'm not going to disappear on them because I won't get my 50,000. Right? So that's the way we structure the program, and it's got scholarship to the school. It's got the visit to the TV studio where we shoot marketing videos for you. It's all inclusive, and everything is one-on-one. Because I don't want to throw you in with somebody more advanced and then you're lost. Or if you're advanced, I don't want to throw you in with somebody a beginner and then you're bored. So it's all one-on-one where nobody will hardly even talk to you, let alone teach anything. And it's with my whole staff. So it's the longest running, most successful, most unique mentor program ever. So they can check that out at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. And then I have a freebie for those of you that were sick enough to stay to the end of this mess. So it's an ebook that I sell for $27, but it's yours free, called How to Automate Your Business. And it's all the techniques I've used to handle up to 150,000 subscribers and 65,000 customers without pulling my hair out. And it's we actually figured it out a couple years ago that just one of the tips in the book has saved me 7.5 million keystrokes to take care of all these people. And it allows me to ethically steal customers from people that are too slow to get back to them. You know, the first person that gets back to somebody is usually the one that gets the business. So this book will tell you all about it. So you go to screwthecommute.com/automate free, screwthecommute.com/automate free. And you can download it, be reading it in a couple minutes, and please do what it says. I mean, it's got cell phone automation techniques and all kinds of stuff that's dirt cheap or free that just makes you lightning fast and reduces your workload.
Well, there you have it, folks. Pick up to that ebook, subscribe to all that Tom is doing, invest in some of his products. It's not all of it if you love to, because it's freaking a lot of stuff, and it's great. It's valuable. Like his Wake 'em Up secrets, snag the audio files in celebration of his 4 to 50 episodes, and my goodness, I'm just barely scratching the surface of it. It's like, yeah, this is a top tier guest right here. This is like platinum amongst gold, folks. I'm telling you, it's freaking awesome, indeed. So be sure to subscribe to that podcast too, Screw the Commute. That's right. Even if you don't even have a commute anymore, still check it out. Subscribe, share with your friends, your cat, and your penguins, y'all. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. You just got done listening to another powerful, power-packed episode of the Going North podcast. I hope you really enjoyed what you heard. Go check out the guest stuff. It's all in the show notes on the website, donbrightman.com, and also reach out to those that you've just heard as well. And keep going north.